Well, welcome to this this blog post on pushbuttoninvestor.com. And just wanted to share with you a valuable lesson that I learned years ago while in another business and listening to a gentleman on stage who was having a lot of success. And he was having a lot of success in prospecting and building his business and in sales because he had a different mindset than I had. And his mindset allowed him to quickly figure out if he was talking to somebody who was going to be a real, genuine, viable prospect for his business, or somebody who was just bored and wanted to spend time picking his brain, or really just had no intention on joining his business and signing up with him, and just didn't know how to say no. And so the mindset that he was teaching this gentleman from stage just really just revolutionized me, blew my mind, changed the way I looked at prospecting forever. And he said, that professionals sort and amateurs convince. Professionals sort and amateurs convince. Professionals will quickly talk with folks and determine if there's a way that they can genuinely serve and help that prospect or not. So the mindset here is not that we're trying to sell something to everybody. We're looking for people that we can genuinely serve and that we can genuinely provide a tremendous amount of value. In fact, the rule of thumb or the formula that I use is for every dollar that someone spends with me, I want them to get $10 of value back in return. And I know that if I can create that kind of a equation between myself and my customer will always be happy. In fact, they might even think to themselves, wow, I feel like I'm getting a great deal, and I'm not so sure that Russ is getting a great deal. And I'm okay with that. I want them to feel blown away and feel like they're just getting a phenomenal deal when they work with me. And so, of course, how do you know if you've run across somebody where that scenario is happening? How do you know if you've got a prospect in front of you where that is happening, and what should be your mindset? So the mindset that this gentleman taught was, and I'll scroll down here a little bit on the page, you can see a picture of a deck of cards, and with every deck of cards there's 52 cards. And with every deck of 52 cards, there's always 4 aces. There's always 4 aces. And what that also means is that the rest of the cards are not aces. So if I know that within every deck of cards there are always 4 aces and the rest are not, my goal should be really simple. It should be to flip over the cards as quickly as I possibly humanly can to find these 4 aces. The 4 aces, of course, being the ones that are going to do business with me, that are the people that I want to do business with, right? I get to choose who I do business with, which is really cool today, because in the past when I was desperate, I had a commission breath where I was I didn't really know what I was doing, and if somebody expressed any kind of interest in what I was selling, boy, I got excited. And I think the prospect could feel that, and they were just kind of going, wow, I'm not sure I want what you're selling. You look a little bit like you're too eager to sell it to me. And so, of course, over the years, I've really learned the value that I could bring to the table, and I created business scenarios where I knew that, I could give my prospect $10 of value for every dollar that they spent with me. And then sometimes with, just like here in this blog post, or this blog that I've got here at blog.pushbuttoninvestor.com, giving away free stuff without expecting anything in return. And of course, I would love to, maybe that's not true. Maybe what I do expect is to be able to attract people that are a perfect fit for my business, of course, repel those that are not. But, this mindset shift was huge for me. And he said, flip over the cards as fast as you can to find those 4 aces, because every deck of 52 cards has 4 aces, which means that 48 of the cards are not going to be aces. And the problem with a lot of new people in business, like myself, of course, when I started years ago, probably 15, 16 years now, was that I was flipping over cards and I'd find a jack or a queen and I would try to make that jack or a queen into an ace. And the reality was that jack or queen was never going to be an ace. No matter how much convincing I did or how much better I got with my personal presentation and all the techniques that I learned from different seminars or what have you, that jack or a queen was always going to be a jack or a queen. And as soon as I really embraced the idea of flipping through those cards, knowing that the aces were there, and how do you know who the ace is and who's not? Well, the ace is interesting. The ace actually lets you lead them through the sales process. They let you lead them. There's very little resistance. Sure, they might have a couple of skeptic questions and concerns that you might want to work through. But in general, I found that these folks, they've done the research, they understand the value that you bring to them, and they're without a doubt glad to let you lead them through the process. And the jacks and the queens are just not. Either they don't know how to say no to you, or their intention is just to prove to you how smart they are, so they let their ego get in the way. Regardless of which it is, they're time stealers. They're more than glad to steal your time. And so what I'll typically do is say, listen, here's what I have to offer. This either makes sense to you or it doesn't make sense. This is either going to bring you value or not, and you're either going to see that or you're not going to see that. And if you don't see that, then there's no hard feelings. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or I'm a bad person or whatever. It just simply means you're not my customer. It just means that the value that I bring to the table isn't a fit for what you have. But for the four aces, it's a perfect fit. They just get it. They go, you know what? This is what I've been looking for. I've been waiting to find something like this, and I don't know how we came together, but I'm so glad that we did. And yes, I would like to take this business relationship to the next step. And so what I'll do is I'll say, listen, I've got more of this information, more of these tools and resources that I think would help you. Here they are. Would you like them? And of course, the four aces say yes, and they're more than glad to take it to the next step. All the other 48 don't. And so instead of doing what I used to do is chase those 48, trying to make those jacks and queens and spades and whatever turned into four aces, I now just thank them for their time. And I really am grateful and honored that they came by. But it's okay. It's just not a fit. They're not my customer. And that allows me emotionally and mentally to not go crazy. And it allows me to focus my efforts on those four aces. And it makes my business incredibly enjoyable, non-adversarial, and it just makes my life so much fun. So anyway, I hope that video or this video is enjoyable for you. Go ahead and read down the rest of this blog post, as I've got a few more nuggets for you, and have a great day.